the final day of May, Saturday the 31st, and we have a lot to unpack in our national forecast. Now, when we look to the prairies, we have some hazy conditions, some heat continuing as the concerning wildfire situation. That's going to be a big topic of conversation, and we'll get to that update in a moment. First, let's start off in the east, where the weekend is bringing cooler temperatures to some and wet weather to a good chunk of Quebec and Atlantic Canada. Folks in Ontario likely staying dry, but some interesting temperature storylines to talk about there. Let's take a look at the rainfall through the weekend. So this system that's moving through really bringing quite a bit of rainfall on our Saturday to the Maritimes. Looks like Sunday, Newfoundland could be getting a bit more of that rainy weather, and then into Monday, some lingering showers for the area. Now, for today, we do have that risk of some non-severe thunderstorms for the Maritimes and parts of Quebec as well. And windy conditions are also looking like a factor for the weekend, not just for the day today, but as you can see into Sunday, still some gusty conditions for the region. Now, this afternoon, there's a look at the Maritimes, hogging the rainy weather. Decent temperatures, though, to go along with this system moving through. Meanwhile, we can see that parts of southern Quebec also dealing with the rain for today. Look at the cooler temperatures into tomorrow. A high of just 10 degrees in Quebec City to finish off the weekend. But look into Monday, Tuesday, sunnier conditions and temperatures into the 20s. So a pretty nice start to June, but we're going to have to wait a day or two. Now, this afternoon, we're looking at way cooler than usual temperatures for areas like Toronto. We are getting some sun, and that's certainly the case for Windsor as well. The further east you head, that's where we get into the cloudier skies. Looking at you, Ottawa there. Now, temperatures tomorrow, not that much better. A typical daytime high for Toronto this time of year is about 22 degrees, so even tomorrow's 15 is certainly on the lower side. But look at what's in store. The gorgeous spring weather that really did not appear in May, well, that's going to take an appearance in the first few days of June. Look at Toronto on Tuesday, mostly sunny, 24 degrees, even warmer on Wednesday with a high of 26. Ottawa also showing that warm up. How about that for Wednesday? 28 degrees and mostly sunny. All right, patio weather. Now, off to British Columbia. Before we get to the prairie wildfires, we've seen the cooler temperatures already for coastal areas, still hanging on to some 30-degree temperatures in the forecast in towards the interior. And now take a look here at the rainfall that we're seeing. That's going to be moving up into the prairies as well, and that'll be important for our wildfire threat. But as you can see, much drier conditions into the day tomorrow and cooler conditions as well. That's really going to spread into the interior tomorrow. With a temperature dip on the way, but still hot for the interior to start the weekend. Also a chance of some non-severe thunderstorm activity we can see here. And taking a look at the rain, you really get a sense of that directionality of this system heading in that northeasterly track. So that's going to be bringing good amounts of rainfall into northern Alberta, clipping northern Saskatchewan, getting into the Northwest Territories as well. Let's talk about the prairies because, of course, states of emergency declared in Saskatchewan and Manitoba due to the wildfires. So we'd love to see some rain, but as I mentioned, that northeasterly track is bringing a lot of that rain into parts of Alberta, not getting as much of it into central Saskatchewan and central Manitoba where we have those really concerning wildfires, but could see some of that moisture on the day Sunday, but really not as much as what we're getting in those more northern areas. So the wildfire situation, something we'll continue to unpack. We can get a look at some of the smoke emanating from these fires in Saskatchewan and Manitoba. Pretty remarkable to look at it from that satellite view. Now, looking at our temperatures for today, we are still dealing with the heat. You can see 30-degree temperatures peppered across the region. Once again, better temperatures tomorrow. We're really returning down to seasonal, but for those in Manitoba, it looks like tomorrow we're still hanging on to that heat before things start to cool down. 7-day forecast for Edmonton, really helping to illustrate the more manageable temperatures on the way for the prairies. And as I mentioned, for Winnipeg, still hot tomorrow, but cooler into the beginning of the week.